Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militiaman and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. It is Friday afternoon, and we decided to do hopefully an early kind of drop tonight because, hey, it's a beautiful day. Where we live, the lake has been just off the charts, 79 degrees. I'm like, wow, this is perfect. So anyway, a lot of things have been happening with the Iraqi Dinar and related topics. Militiaman and Crew, the team effort has been phenomenal. Super Samson, our news hound, has been just knocking it out of the park. Our Discord chat room that we have, our wonderful moderators, everybody's been really, wonderful. People are really excited because the data that we provide supports that Iraq is having things ready to go and done. We know that al-Sudani is gearing to come to the United States on or around the 15th and to have a lot of meetings. It sounds like today that we see that he's ready to spend about a week in the United States, and him staying about a week in the United States is a big deal because that's a long time, and he's bringing a delegation of people to the country. And what are they going to be doing? Well, it's senior representatives from the Central Bank of Iraq. And what are they going to be doing? They're going to be talking about with the United States Treasury technical issues. So there's some things that you got to work through this process, is because it's not just one little component, it's lots of components that need to be addressed. You have the Strategic Framework Agreement, for instance, that the United States has started back in 2003, 2008, adjusted, I think. But they're, regardless of those 2 years, it just means that the Strategic Framework Agreement is going to be about security, and it's also going to be about development. And development comes from expansion, moving Iraq into the international world. So all of the videos that we've seen, replay them if you'd like, that'd be great. But right now it's going to be focused in on the fact that they're going to start talking about key initiatives. Al-Sudani, it's his first experience to be with the United States president, and never happened before. And for him to be here for a week and to visit specific states, didn't say which ones, but you have two ideas. So we know that Iraq has been working with some very large companies. We have Honeywell, for instance. We have General Electric, the Vernova, and then we have McKesson Pharmaceutical. So if, for instance, he's coming here to go to those states, those guys are multi-billion-dollar companies, and they will drive revenues into Iraq because of pharmaceuticals. Solar energy, for instance, with GE, green energy, so that's all part of it. Honeywell, for instance, they're going to do their thing, okay? So, but also, who is here in the United States? We have pretty good sized large populations in the geographical regions that I just mentioned where these companies are located. I think the furthest away from where al-Sudani is going to be is Irving, Texas, and that's where McKesson is. But it's all about the money, it's about the people, and it's all about moving forward into a international market economy. And so that's what we're seeing, and we're going to be witnessing that. And we also know that certain things haven't been done. What are those things that haven't been done? Well, you haven't seen the salaries actually funded outside of financing. So they haven't done that. They're talking about 2 pipelines with oil that haven't been flowing for years. One is only a year or more through the Cyan port from Kurdistan. But yet they talk about that the Kirkuk pipeline was shut down for many, many years. But they're also coming together to possibly be started on or around, let's call it May 1st. I mean, just I think there's an article that supports that with Kirkuk, for instance, and to the disgruntlement of the northern region, Kurdistan, because they want theirs open too. So if one went before the other, it would be like a squabble. But the bottom line is that the state has the ability to produce oil through those pipelines, and if they do it again, because Kirkuk's been fixed, certain types of components of the pipeline, stations, etc., have been fixed, and whereas they've tested already the northern region already up to Turkey. So that development road project coming through, all of these things coming together at the same time are fascinating, because it's all going to be about money, the constitutional rights. Citizens are waiting for the constitutional rights. Interestingly enough, in our Patreon room, we have some Iraqis, and we have some Saudis, and we have some people all over the world. All of you, we love you. Thank you for being with us. But one of the things is that the other day we talked about what's the tone in Iraq, and they're talking about oil. We own our oil. And the gentleman that brought it up, thank you very much. You know who you are. Because it's real-time data that the citizens know that they're going to get a check. So today, I don't think I have it in my lineup, but we know about the national cards. And I may have that with me tonight. But the national cards are going to be for all transactions in the United States. I guess effectively it might have effect on us. But all transactions in Iraq, they need their card, biometric cards, fingerprints, all that stuff. So all transactions, so if they say all transactions, whether that's government, monetary, all of that, will be related to their national card. And so the saturation to populate the country sounds like it's been done. So when you have the oil coming in, you have the saturation of the cards so that they can get their money, because hydrocarbon law, if it's done, they've been talking about the legislative, executive authority. All of those things have been phenomenal bits of information that we've been studying for years. But now they're really here with us. So that's the stuff that everybody should feel really good about. And I just wanted to bring that some of that stuff to your attention. And so I'll get back to where I was from the beginning, is that the dollar and the dinar are related, of course. We all know that. But we know that the Iraqi dinar is undervalued, just like many other countries in the world are undervalued. The circumstance with Iraq is my focus, whether other countries like Vietnam and Indonesia and countries in Africa, that's not my study. But with the Iraqi dinar at the moment, here an article that says the dollar is on the Sudanese dialogue table in Washington. So this gentleman by the name of Al-Awadi talks about the future of the Iraqi dinar. Why is that important? It's important because he's talking about the fact that there's going to be a relationship. Look, he's going on, I think it was yesterday, that the dollar file and the work of banks will be strongly present during the visit of Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani in Washington. What he's suggesting is that the dinar situation in the future will be better. So of course it will be better. We all know that that's the expectation, is because of the nature of the circumstances, is that if al-Sudani is correct in telling his citizens, which he's done, that the dinar is going to be stronger, hold tight, then this is what we're talking about. This is powerful information. Al-Awadi basically states that the file of activating the strategic framework agreement between Washington and Baghdad and the security aspect, which is the economic file, will be present and strong during the Prime Minister's visit to the United States. It says, indicating that the relationship of the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve Bank continues and dialogues are ongoing. It did not stop with them over the past year, as there were several mutual visits, unannounced and announced. So in other words, look, they've been working on this relationship in public and private, and that's obviously a big issue. So if it's got to be hush hush, it's got to deal with some very important and sensitive information. He goes on to say that the Sudanese government will discuss the issue of banks and economic and administrative reform of financial institutions and banks, as well as the dollar file. So basically, they go on to say that the solution to the dollar crisis does not come with the push of a button. It doesn't come with the push of a button. That's what they said. It takes a year. They've already talking about this particular case over a year. So everybody that says, hey, it's a push of a button, it's a push of a button. No, it hasn't been. They needed to get it done right. It's been a complex issue. They've been working on it for a long time. And those of us that have been around a long time, that pay attention, and not to be rude, forgive me, but I'm just saying, those of us that do really pay attention and for a long period of time see this clearly, and many of you that may not, because it seems like it should be just, let's do it, push the button. But okay, I'll leave that alone. But fact remains is they acknowledge it. It's not just a push the button issue. It's been complex, and they just told you that it's taken time. And in this particular case, it's been over a year that they've been working on this. Al-Sudani's only been in office for a little over a year. So since October 28th, 2022 is a little over a year. Okay, it's going on 2. So you should be proud that this man is knocking it home when he's coming to town. He's going to be in 3 states. He's going to talk about all these things. He's bringing a delegation to do technical information with the banking and financial circumstances. So he goes to say that Shia al-Sudani will visit Washington April 15th. White House will receive the president, stressing that the leaders would reaffirm their commitment to the Strategic Framework Agreement. Well, strategic framework agreement, say that 5 or 6 times fast, is about security, it's about economics, it's about reconstruction, it's about development, and it's about paying bills. It's about all kinds of things. It's many different things. No different than the DFI fund. They changed that DFI fund to a new account called the Iraq 2 account. That's going to be part of that strategic framework agreement, I think, but we're going to go on. Look, in my view, that there's clear signals that the dinar and dollar relationship are going to be different in the future. They state specifically that the dinar will be better in the future. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's going to be better. If it's going to be stronger than the dollar, Al-Sudani said it, and it's going to be better into the future, it's because of what? All of these actions that they're talking about now. So the focus at this time, to me, is it's not necessarily so much about the public and the not so public. It's the point is that they're openly saying that it's been a sensitive topic. So look. Key on this, the dollar and the Sudanese dialogue table with Washington, the future of the Iraqi dinar, they're suggesting it's going to be better in the future. It's huge. Al-Sudani says his meeting with Biden is going to be an opportunity to put the partnership between the two countries on a new basis. It says it will be an opportunity to put the American-Iraq partnership on a new and more sustainable basis. They go on to say that their discussions will underscore and continue importance of our economic relations. So what are they talking about? Combating financing, combating money laundering, terrorist financing, all that stuff, okay? It says the war against terrorism will remain a central topic for the governments, adding that, quote, we recognize and appreciate the critical role the United States of America has played and the members of the international coalition to combat ISIS and defeat terrorism. So they're setting the stage for security, stability. The support has helped Iraq achieve stability. They go on to say that the safety of the citizens, and to contribute in essential ways to building a prosperous and stable Iraq. So they're just on and on about stability and security. They're saying that the prime minister concluded within his article saying that the relationship in its new form or partnership can represent a source of mutual benefit for both of our countries, Iraq and the United States, and a driving force for achieving stability in the Middle East. So it's going to go regionally. And that's exactly what everybody's expecting, is that that they've done so far is going to tamp down aggressive behaviors. We'll have to see if it holds true. There's some news out today that suggests that there might be some, blowback on that comment, because neighbors don't get along all the time, and they are opportunistic. So we'll see what happens. Let's hope and pray that that's not the case. Okay, so the partnership with Iraq and the USA is on a new form and a more sustainable basis, as we can see. The focus is based on continuing importance between both sides in regard to their economic relationships. Iraq gives credit where due in that the USA, the international coalition, played a critical role in defeating terrorism. The stability achieved will allow for the government to be able to have that development. The coalition people will be able to help in that construction and that reconstruction of the country. So, what's it going to require? It's going to require the dinar and dollar to have a far different relationship. So keep that in mind. It's going to be huge. I don't mean to say that's going to be huge, you guys, too many times, but in totality, what Iraq and the world are being exposed to at this stage of the game, Al-Sudani, it's his first experience here. The citizens know that they're ready to get money, to get their cards. They know that they have a national card. And it's going to be about all transactions, whether that's going to the doctor, whether that's going to be to the grocery store, whether that's going to be anywhere. They're doing a digital transformation that whether you like it or not, or anybody else in the world likes it or not, Iraq's going to do what they do the way that they do it. And that national card, it's a biometric card, fingerprints, eyeballs, everything. Where do you live? It's going to come into a situation where it's going to be about who deserves the money. We can't have 1,400 employees that are fake. They're ghosts, or 2 million for that matter. When they do this, everybody that's going to have a card is going to have to, if they want their oil money, they want their constitutional rights, they're going to get it. And that's a good thing for them. I hope they do it, and they do it quickly, because that's going to benefit you and I, and a lot of other people too, here in the United States, maybe in Canada, Australia, Korea, South Korea. You get the picture. It's awesome. So here, this article is, that historical brilliance is going to turn into why they have a national card, in my view. I think that's what it's going to be, is because that historical brilliance is going to bring back a previous era. That brilliance is about the fact that Iraq can do what they said they were going to do. They can achieve greatness. They have been hammered since 2003, and here it's 2024, going into 2025, on the way. So when he's saying this multiple times, and he's talking about the things that he's doing, and he's having a first relationship with our President of the United States in a setting with central banks, or central banks in big business, all of that is very compelling. It's interesting because they don't talk about it like in a census status. They talk about it as a national card. And so if they have saturated the country, they know who and everyone is. They have fingerprints, biometrics, location, all of those things to identify who gets what. Remember, there's a lot of corruption was involved. So there was a lot of people that were getting payments for doing a job they never did 3-4 times. So at this stage, again, they've audited, and they've been auditing for, I wouldn't say just a year, but they've been doing this for a long time. I think there's 13 of the largest entities in the world that do auditing have been working on this project. And interestingly enough, was the crime of the century just keeps growing. It just keeps bigger. They've been finding more and more money, and they said today, we don't even know how much money we have. So all of that money will be clawed back, we'd like to think, from what they've said. It'll be coming back to their coffers, which is going to donate or help to take care of the citizens. So anyway, the national card, basis for the transactions. It says the basis of the electronic governance in the national card is that it's real data, in addition to the presence of large presence of face imagery, eye prints, fingers, and these will also present a status to the records, probably location, like in, for instance, where do you live, census information. And the last of this whole conversation we're going to have is that the advisor Maher Soleil, it's the launch of the government spending in the coming weeks will constitute 50% of the gross domestic product. It's huge. It says financial and economic advisor Mohamed Soleil, he confirms on today the launch of the government spending in the coming weeks will constitute 50% of the country's gross domestic product. It says in the coming weeks. So today, the Prime Minister hasn't left the United States yet. The 2023-2024 budget hasn't been sent to the HOR yet, but they're saying in the coming weeks. So if you think about it for a minute, there's time constraints on getting things done. You have to get it done. So in other words, they can't really most likely expose an exchange rate to the House of Representatives before they give it to them. They just can't do that because that would leak around and it would get out and it would probably be a disruption. But then if you think about it, is that they have to give that information because it's a legal component. So if they do what they say they're going to do and get an exchange rate out effectively because of the nature of the beast, it's going to most likely be before that happens. The news says that those budget schedules and the budget texts, etc., for the 23, 24, 25 budget will hit the HOR after Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr is scheduled to be done on or around the time al-Sudani takes off and comes to America. They didn't say what day, they just said after, okay? But if you think about the time constraints that you have to do, is that it takes time. If they change the value of the currency, then they have to approve that through their budget without amendments or with amendments to be able to get it into the Gazette. Al-Sudani is the guy that's on record that says he's going to have reform within this month, April. So there you have it. We're pretty much basically the government spending or the demand constitutes approximately 50% of the country's gross domestic product. 50%, and you're going to do that. Okay, without having an exchange rate change, I think we all can see that there's going to be something up. Whether it's today, tomorrow, by the end of the month, we don't know that, but let's just see what they do. They're suggesting, the news is suggesting, this is what they're doing. Okay? Thank you very much for being with me. All right, have a great Friday evening. Enjoy your weekend, and be safe out there. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much, and have a great day.